Welcome to Ideas All Day podcast, where we, definitely sometimes experts on things that do not matter and no one knows about because that's a secret, and where we discuss some ideas and then we put them in piles, like the good ideas pile, the bad ideas pile, and just the ideas pile. So why don't we do some introductions? Ajax, why don't you start off today? How are things going for you today?
Today, it has been fine. I worked out this morning and I opened trails this morning and then I opened trails this evening. So I did a lot of things today.
Would you say it was a mix of trails?
Trail mix. It was a trail mix.
It was. I assume it was.
Yeah, but then I ate all the chocolate M&Ms.
Somebody always does.
That's me. I am the one that eats the M&Ms.
Yep. It's like everyone gets the trail mix thinking it's healthy, but you're really just doing it for the M&Ms.
Exactly. That's why you never want to share a trail mix with me.
And it's funny, just buy a bag of M&Ms. It's cheaper, and you get more. You get exactly what you're looking for. Stop lying to yourself.
But then they're not coated like in salt.
You can coat them yourself.
No, that's weird.
What do you mean it's weird?
Why would I coat my M&Ms in salt? That's a strange thing.
But if you want,
I want them pre-coated in
no, they don't come pre-coated. It's just because you're tossing them in with the peanuts.
Exactly. I want them tossed. I want my M&Ms tossed in trail mix.
Maybe you need to talk to the Mars Corporation and see if they can get some salt tossed M&Ms for you.
I know what I'm getting Ajax for her birthday. I'm going to toss some M&Ms and some salt for her and present it.
There's gonna be no salt that sticks. It'll just be M&Ms and salt in a bag, and it won't.
No, it's an easy thing. All you do is you get a little. Yeah, no, you get a spray bottle of water on the finest setting possible. Finest setting. You missed it. Sprinkle fine salt over the top, just a little bit, and you're done.
Done. Salt bay it.
Salt bay it, or even a little bit of actually like oil too, because it'll still stick to it, but it won't cause the dye to. Do it, but it might impart a flavor unless you do a very, very, very neutral oil.
So many things that we can try.
Indeed. Speaking of things to try, Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Not to one up Ajax, but I also worked out this morning. And then, of course, I worked out again this evening because I like to work out more than most people because I'm a little competitive like that. So if you're going to work out once a day, I'm going to work out twice a day. If you're going to work out twice, I'm going to do 3. Just because that's the kind of person I am. And what did you do today, Alex? How many times did you work out?
Well, I'm going to up you both, double up both. What did you say? What was the words? One up.
One up.
I'm going to one up. I'm going to 2 up both of you. I didn't work at all today. I didn't do anything because I'm a sloth, as we all know. Has been well established that I am a sloth in human form. And I would think it's superior not to work out because it's, I get to relax, enjoy. I could take a nap. I don't have to rush.
Did you take a nap?
No, but if I wanted to, I could have.
I was close to taking a nap today. There was a point in time that I seriously considered it, and I was like, no, I can't because I have things to do. I could have. But I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't because I don't do well with naps.
Yeah.
I don't get the timing right.
Well, not unless you could compete with your naps. Competitive napping.
You can't.
Well, who knows? There could be a market for that. That sounds like a competitive sport that Alex would actually be really good at. Competitive napping.
God, I hate napping, to be honest with you. I hate napping.
It's so sloth-like.
You know what? You'd think I would be great, but I hate napping. I feel worse after a nap.
I do too.
I feel like I didn't sleep at all. I feel like I just wasted my time, and I feel bad afterwards.
Especially if it's like 2 hours of a nap, and you're like, God, you wake up and you're like, oh, should not have done that.
No. Well, 2 hours is practically sleeping. That's practically going to sleep. No, I'm talking even 15, 20 minutes. I do not feel rested. I don't feel good. I want nothing to do with it.
Well, then, since that's not the idea for you, today our topics are ideas for competitive sports or competitive activities.
Like competitive air horning.
Oh my God, I would love that.
I compete Kate in her air horning.
No, you clip. See,
You clipped.
you clip. I win.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but that's okay.
A winner, baby. Winner.
Okay, since you win, Alex,
Yeah.
how about your ideas?
Yeah, since Kate won, I will go first because that's the prize. Sure, we'll go with that one.
Kate wins, Alex goes first.
Because I'm always the winner, a winner. So for my first idea, I want to make something I hold near and dear, something to be an Olympic sport, something that takes a lot of endurance, stamina, skill, and people pay good money for it too. And that's competitive cooking. And I mean, I know there's competitions out there, but I want it in the Olympics because I'm sorry, but you see people in a kitchen, they're sweating, they're running back and forth. There's a lot of skill involved. There's a lot of energy. You can't be out of shape when you're doing that kind of stuff. You got to be busting your butt. So yeah, I'm going to say Olympic competitive cooking. For my second idea is another non-traditional, I won't even say sport, but one that's very skill-based, requires a lot of dexterity, and that's speed knitting. I want to see old grandmas on a stage knitting away to see who can make not only the best quality sock or mittens or whatever, but with the fastest time as well. Because you can do it fast, but you're going to make mistakes. You got to see who can do it the best. Who's the Usain Bolt of competitive speed knitting? All right. Now for my third idea, something again that's already kind of a sport, but let's tweak it a little. And that's the spelling bee. But this time, I want to make it a relay race. I want to have, when you have the kids up there, they're all taking their time saying, use it in a sentence. What's its definition? No, I want it to be, you got 4 kids at the same time with 4 different judges getting their words, but they got to do it fast, accurate, and then tag their team through. And if they get it wrong, they got to try another word or they get kicked out. Something along those lines. But I want to see it where it's a real on the knife's edge. They got to bust their butt, do it quick, and be thinking on their feet. They don't got time to be messing around, usually trying to rifle through the dictionary in their head. Now for my fourth idea, and I think Kate will get a kick out of this one, competitive survivalism, where you would have, your athletes, if you will, you give them a set of challenges. And whether it could be who can build the best bunker within or survivalist, shelter within a certain time frame. It could be who can gather the most food in a certain area in a certain time frame. Build the biggest fire, within an hour, using just the tools or not even any tools on hand. But those kind of using those skill sets, they have to have a lot of strength. They've got to have a lot of endurance. And, hell, you could throw winter versions in there as well. And then for my final idea, another activity that takes a lot of strength, endurance, and God forbid, the people that do this stuff on a daily basis, I honestly think probably get paid enough. But I want a competitive landscaping. But I want it full contact, where you're going to have a team of landscapers who have to, 2 teams, kind of like football, where you have to do a landscape of a yard or a certain patch of land, but you're going to have your landscaping part of the team as well as your interference part of the team, because you're going to have people that are going to interfere with the other set of landscapers who might try and tackle them, try and take their weed whackers and throw them over the fence, whatever works. Maybe that's a bit of a foul, but, I haven't worked out the rules yet. Those are my ideas.
Thanks, Alex. Let me pile your ideas first. Idea number 1, competitive cooking in the Olympics. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile leaning towards bad, just simply because I do hate cooking. And I find like there's a lot of competitive shows already about cooking. I know you wanted it as an Olympic sport, but I feel like cooking doesn't really fit the Olympics motif.
You could do it as a catering style, because most of the ones you're doing the shows, they want it fancy. They want it which looks best or tastes best. Mm-hmm. Why does it I need you to make 100 of this specific dish the fastest and accurately. Why not that?
That's why it's in the ideas leaning towards bad and not fully in bad. Because I can see like how that would be entertaining to watch. And if you're an actual chef, how that would kind of really demonstrate your skills in time management and managing a team. So yeah, ideas leaning towards bad. Speed knitting. I would have given you a good ideas pile on this, but it already exists. They
Why?
do it.
Where? Who
They
does
do
that?
it in Iceland
Nobody's
to
in
heavy
Iceland.
metal music.
Ooh.
It's a heavy
Damn.
metal knitting music competition where people speed knit to heavy metal music, and it's kind of like a performance arts thing.
Then it's
how
not a
they like
competition.
interact with the band and like get the crowd involved. But I like it. I mean, knitting's a skill, not one that I have. I crochet. I don't knit. That's a two-handed job with the knitting. I'm a one-hander with the crocheting. Ride or die with that right side. But yeah, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile leaning towards good because that would be something I would like to watch. Just, I could see this at fairs or it's like 6 county wide knitting competition.
This would be great for the Bloomsburg Fair.
This would be awesome
or even for the New York State Fair. Yeah,
for any fair would be great.
My fair would never do such a thing.
We should just bring our knitting to all the fairs.
We should just compete
start our own.
We just go to random fairs, set up a little table, and then have a knit off and see if we get any interest. No. And none of us can finish anything because I think Ajax would be the one that wins because I think you're the only one who knows actually how to knit.
I always just have to like remember how to cast on. So if I can pre-cast on, then I can participate.
Idea number 3, the spelling bee relay race. So when I was thinking about this, it's kind of like a spelling bee is this very slow but intense drama. So it's kind of like a mini series where it's a whodunit and it's a slow build up, a slow burn to the final, like who actually wins. Whereas this spelling bee relay race is kind of like an intense action movie where you can just watch it in like an hour and a half and get your entertainment. With that said, I really like this idea. So I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile. I find watching spelling bees boring. I feel it's like really intense for the people who are actually spelling, but not the ones actually watching. Whereas if this relay race would really be more entertaining to watch. Competitive survivalism. This kind of reminds me of like the lumberjack challenges, if you ever seen them.
Where they
like and
to a degree.
I mean,
it's definitely not the same thing.
Oh no.
And it's not like you haven't gone to the school for lumberjack challenges too.
No. Never.
Would never think of that.
No. I'm not a certified lumberjack competitor in 3 counties. I like this. It kind of also reminded me of like the Spartan race where it's just like really weird challenges like that you wouldn't normally just walk into a gym and do. I would like this more if the person didn't know what the challenge is going in. So like they just drop you off at a location and be like, okay, you're in the desert. Your challenge is to find water. Or, okay, you're in the woods. Your challenge is to build a shelter to withstand a storm that's coming in the next 6 hours. So I like this. I would, it does remind me of Naked and Afraid a little, but without being naked, which I would enjoy that. I would compete in that one compared to just being naked and afraid. So yeah, I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile. And then competitive landscaping. You had me up to the point until you said it was full contact. And for a second, I thought it was like 2 landscaping companies fighting each other to compete to complete a landscaping job. And I'm like, that's just really difficult. And then when you said there's interference, it's like who can landscape the fastest maybe, or who can like make the prettiest landscaping in the shortest of time.
That's like stuff that people might already do, but they don't do it full contact. They're not doing it where they can run interference. You gotta imagine here. Okay, think this. Let's say you've got 2 football teams. They're on the. I get that. They're facing off, and you've got your quarterback and your defenders and all that stuff. But instead, you've got the line where your defense is just basically trying to keep the other landscaping team from interfering with your guy and knocking him over while he's got the hedge clipper, and then shearing off the top of the hedge that like looks like a deer or something.
You lost me there. Like you lost me in like me enjoying the idea, not like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I get what you're talking about, but
no, I don't think you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this.
Then you would love it.
I'm gonna put this in ideas leaning towards bad because I don't think it's a completely bad idea. There's some aspects of the idea I like, but there's a lot that I don't like. So ideas leaning towards bad, and those are my pilings.
Well, thank you, Kate. What about you, Ajax? How good are my ideas?
You really want me to be honest for all of them? Okay, fine, I will be. So for your first idea of competitive cooking in the Olympics, I think this would be really fun because then you can actually feed the audience too, which like if you're competing for the like if they're at a gymnastics meet and you have all the people already sitting there, you can have competitive cooking going on. So they're not just looking at gymnastics, they can look at the people cooking, and then also they get the taste test too. And the audience can be the people with the sport. I think that would be super fun. I think it's a good idea. I'd like to have it coinciding with other Olympic Games, or it could be its own thing by itself. Either one. For the second idea of speed knitting, it does exist. So as most of our ideas always exist. But I think if we can do it at fairs and fun like that, that would be fun. So I'll put an ideas pile leaning towards good. I'll partake in that game.
You're gonna go against someone's grandmother. You're gonna try and beat her.
Yeah,
speed knitting.
No mercy.
No, okay, fair enough.
No mercy right there. I'm gonna speed knit my heart out. Competitive spelling bee relay race. I think this would be really fun. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It reminds me of an episode of Sliders where with Jerry O'Connell, that show back in the day where they used to go to different worlds. Well, there was one episode where he was on a team of like mathletes or like, really smart people. And they had to do this game where they were running around trying to solve a puzzle, but also listing out different like names of periodic table elements.
Well, because they had to throw the ball around or whatever they land. I remember that episode. Don't you worry.
Completely. That's what
it's like that was season one. That was season one. That was when Rembrandt wasn't fun.
That was when Rembrandt wasn't fun. That was before he got all hippie mode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then he became the main character. Let's be honest here.
He did. And then that was when John Rhys Davies was still there.
Yeah. That's when it was still good.
Yeah. So this is a good idea. I like this idea. Competitive survivalism. I've done this before at summer, like when I was a naturalist and leading camps, we'd always do this for like shelter building and have like, test the kids' shelters at the end and see which ones had big holes in it when we dumped the water on it. Well, that's not going to keep you warm during a snowstorm. So I'll put this in the ideas pile just because I've done it before. Competitive landscaping. I'm putting this directly in the bad ideas pile.
What?
Because if this was at work, OSHA would not approve of weed whacking injuries.
Oh, imagine if there was weed whacking fights where you have the two people with the weed whackers going at each other, just like a freaking giant sword battle.
Just imagine like the gashes that you get from the whips. Oh,
it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye.
How'd you lose that? Oh, competitive landscape.
Or then you got to chase that. You have a race against, or playing chicken with the ride-wing lawnmowers and the leaf blower fights.
This is a really bad idea. I can just see like people coming at each other with lawnmowers, and like it's got the picture of the sticker of like what happens if your finger gets.
Well, don't shoot your finger chopped in there.
Well, if you're going hard.
Don't want
anything can happen.
I don't know if you're going over the other team and going, whoop, put my finger in the thing. Where the plates are.
But when you're crashing into somebody else, the propeller can completely chop off somebody's body part.
Well, that's just the risk to take. That's the waiver you sign.
All you do is sign a waiver.
Makes it all okay. What? You can get hey, people play football and play sports that can get you injured all the time.
True. You're right.
That's why the national sport should be the relay spelling bee. I'm just saying. No one gets hurt in that one. Just their feelings.
And those are my pilings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Kate, why don't you go next?
Thank you. My first idea isn't my idea.
Bad idea then.
Saturday Night Live had a skit about the Olympics, and this was years ago. This was in the 80s, so some of our listeners might not have remembered it, which is why I wanted to bring it up. They wanted to do, as you know, performance enhancing drugs are banned for the Olympics to make play fair. How about having an Olympics in which you could take all the performance enhancing drugs that you wanted to finally see who was like, it would just be crazy to see what the human body could do with all the drugs. So that's idea number one, is I kind of want to see everybody with their performance enhanced drugs competing against each other and see like how fast can we get a human body to go? How high can a human body jump? Like it would be kind of really cool to watch. That was Saturday Night Live's idea, not mine, but I would love to see it. Idea number two, there's a lot of dance competitions. And there's a lot of very well-trained dancers. I hate these things because I am not a very good dancer. I'm not a very well-trained dancer. So I kind of want to do a bad dance-off in which they kind of did this with a singing competition where they found the worst singer in the United States. It was like a reverse American Idol. So everybody knew they were looking for a bad singer except for the singers. And the singers thought they were really good. So I kind of want to do the reverse of that. I want the dancers knowing that they have to dance, like do bad dancing. But I don't want the judges to know. So the judges are grading these dancers as if they are supposed to be seasoned veteran dancers, professional dancers. And then basically the low score wins. So that's idea number two. Bad dance-offs when the judges don't know they're supposed to be bad. Idea number three. I used to do a lot of running. And when you do a foot race and it's you and someone else, you're kind of motivated by that someone else. You will keep pace with that other person, or you kind of have an idea of like where you are in the race because that person's slightly ahead of you, or you can hear their footsteps behind you. You kind of get an idea. So sometimes when you're racing with someone else, you tend to perform better because you want to win. I kind of want to have an endurance race where every racer has a specific amount of time. Let's say like 5 hours. So it's an endurance race, 8 hours. And they have as much time in that time span to run as much distance as they can. But the thing is, they're running it by themselves. They're not running with anybody else. And they have like a chip and they just run and they run and run and run. And it's tracked and then it's compared to the other racers. And then whoever ran the most mileage in that set time would be the winner. So endurance running distance race is my third idea. My fourth idea is competitive cuddling. And there would be two divisions. One division would be little spoon, and the second division would be big spoon. And you would have judges that you would have to cuddle in your division. So if you were going for big spoon division, you would have to cuddle the little spoon judges, and things could be like comfiness, warmth, arm position, general overall safety feel. So yeah, I think I would do very well in this competition. So idea number 4, competitive cuddling. Idea number 5. Recently, I've re-listened to a lot of Meatloaf music after his passing, and I came across this song called Nowhere Fast. And it just reminded me of like the old school 80s competitive cardio competitions, like aerobic competitions. And I was on the treadmill today running on it. And I was like literally dancing on the treadmill. So my 5th idea is creative cardio competitions where you find a way in like different divisions. So there'll be like treadmill, running, skipping, jump rope, to basically do like exercise dance. And it's kind of like ice dancing. The judges would decide like, okay, skill and, overall performance, creative, like judge it like that. So idea number 5, creative cardio competitions. And then for my last idea, which isn't really a competitive sport, it's something I want to see changed with competitive sport, is to have non-gender divided sports. Nothing pissed me off more growing up than when I would play sports with my brothers and I would play with their basketball, their football, their baseball. And then I would go and play sports and the basketball was smaller. And now my shots were kind of thrown off. The baseball was now a softball and it's a different way of throwing and different way of catching. And it's not as far base wise. And then with football, the football was smaller. So I feel like women will never be on the same playing field as men because we don't play with the same stuff. We don't have the same rules. When we golf, we get a closer tee because off the women's tee is a couple feet down the range than the men's tee. So I want to get rid of that. And I hate the explanation, well, biologically, women have smaller hands. That might be true for some women, but every guy I ever dated, we've had the same size hands. So, and I can throw a men's football just as well as I can throw a woman's football. So that always drove me nuts. So I want to see non-gender divided sports. And then whoever's the best will win. I mean, yeah, for a while, it might be a male-dominated situation, but the more women are exposed to the same things and the more they train with the same things, we can rise to the occasion as well. So those were my ideas. Ajax, why don't you pile my ideas first?
All right, I'll pile you.
Thank you.
All right, so for your first idea of an Olympics where you take all the performance enhancing drugs, I mean, it'd be one I wouldn't want to miss. I wouldn't want to miss that type of Olympics. I mean, I want to watch it, but I also don't know what the consequences to such an Olympics would be. Like, what if people take too many performance enhancing drugs and you got people with health defects for years to come after this Olympics has happened?
Well, so, I mean, they are adults. This isn't like the Junior Olympics. So, like,
well, I would think the Junior Olympics, it'd be the Mighty Ducks taking all the performance enhancing drugs. Yeah, and that would be for the children.
No,
but
this is adult Olympics. So as an adult, you can do performance enhancing drugs now.
Yeah, but you want to take all of them.
I mean, that's
to
up
hype
to the
yourself
adult.
Up on them.
Yeah, there would be no limits. That's for sure.
No limits. So this could be an interesting idea. Right now, I'm going to put it in the ideas pile.
I respect that.
For your second idea of the bad dance off with the judges not knowing that it's a bad dance off and they think it's a good dance off. My concern with that is that if judges are coming to judge the dance off and they just think everything's bad, they're like, I don't want to watch anything anymore. Why am I here? They wouldn't even realize that you're judging how badly they are. But it could be really entertaining to watch on TV or even participating in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, well, I'll put it in the ideas pile leaning towards good. Screw the judges.
They're getting paid either way.
Exactly. I'll be a judge. The endurance race of 5 to 8 hours and running as much distance as you can, and then it's tracked and compared. I feel like I've heard of this before.
We talked about it last week.
That could be the reason why I've heard of this.
That's how we came up with the idea for this week.
Well, then, since that's the reason why I've heard it before, then I can't really say that I heard it, that it's being done, but I've heard of it. So I'll put in the good ideas pile since I can't think of it happening another time. And then for the fourth idea of competitive cuddling, I think you just want to be the judge.
I don't know. I pride myself on my cuddling skills, but I wouldn't mind being the judge either.
You can play multi roles in this one.
You know, I could definitely do one division and then judge the other, maybe so I can get the best of both worlds. I don't know.
You can compete sometimes too. And you'd be like, now I'm competing as you're judging. Be like, this is my judge mode. This is my cuddle mode.
I mean, honestly, if I were to compete, I would think I would judge as the little spoon, but I would want to compete as the big spoon. I like being the big spoon, and I feel like there's a lot more to judge there. So there's like more chances for me to get in well with the judge compared to being a little spoon. There's not like much you can do being the little spoon to really impress a judge.
I mean, if you're really good at just laying there.
Yeah, comfortably laying there.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get points. It's not as an easy point generating cuddle adventure.
Yeah, that's why I think I would rather be big spoon, because there's a lot more I can do with that position.
I'd like to partake in competitive cuddling.
We'll have to
at least be a judge.
Yeah. Oh, we could be training buddies. You can compete as a little spoon and I'll compete as a big spoon. We can give each other pointers.
Just yell, switch.
You're like, okay. No, put your head more on the shoulder. Perfect. Okay.
All right. Well, it's going to go on the good ideas pile, because I mean, if we can actually get money out of cuddling too from, awards for winning and cuddling.
Bam. Like
I'm in. All right. So for your fifth idea of creative cardio competitions, I think that would be fun. Like if you're running on a treadmill and you're trying to freestyle fancy it up to, well, it doesn't have to be freestyle. It can be like a planned routine.
Oh, yeah, totally. A planned routine. Freestyle could be a category, but planned routines.
It kind of makes me think of like that. Was that OK Go video where they were doing the dances on the
treadmills?
Treadmills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But just imagine that as a competition.
I would like that as a competition. I'll put in the good ideas pile.
You can do individuals.
I'll compete in that.
You can do teams. Like OK Go did, like that would be considered team competition.
Yeah. There's many different categories.
Yeah.
And your sixth idea of non-gender divided sports. Yeah, I would like to train men to use small ball, and then they can come down to small ball level and then play football. And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Ajax. Alex, why don't you pile my ideas?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Kate. All right, for your first idea for having Olympics that allows unlimited use of performance-enhancing drugs. This is a terrible idea. And even taking into account where you said, well, they're adults, they can make, doesn't matter. Just because someone can jump up a bridge doesn't mean you should let them. So I'm sorry, but this is going straight in the bad ideas pile, just because with how, as you say, with how you are, you're very competitive. If something gives you an edge, you'll do it, even if it might be for the negative, possibly for the negative impact against your person, because you want to beat that other person or get the notoriety that comes along with it. So no, this is a bad idea. You got to save them from themselves, and then they just should work at it the hard way. It means they're a true athlete and not just for funsies.
Well, I mean, you can make that argument with any sport with risk. I mean, we could be playing sarcastic ball for the rest of our days.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that?
I'm just saying, football, there's a lot of football players don't survive past the age of 60.
And it's awful.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
But it's,
and I want to see competitive sarcastic ball.
That it was
performance enhanced
sarcastic ball. That's when the competitive cuddling team gets involved and starts joining sarcastic ball.
Anywho, on to your second idea with the bad dance off that you do on purpose. This one's very conflicted because I think it, as Ajax put it, it would be really fun to watch for like an episode or two. But I feel kind of bad for the judges because they're essentially being pranked. Yes, maybe there is something at stake. Maybe there is a prize at stake. But even still, they're kind of getting pranked. And yeah, they're getting paid for it either way. If you're the guest host of this kind of joke show, you might take offense to that where you're like, just a joke. So I kind of feel bad for those folks. If they're fine with it afterwards and sign up and saying, yeah, that's fine. Let's air it and let's go with it. and they would get paid either way, whether they said yes or no. All right, fine. I'm on board, but I know it'll be entertaining. So I'm going to put the ideas going towards bad because I feel bad for the judges, but otherwise everyone else is having a great time. Your third idea with your solo endurance race. I have a question about this one. Is everyone doing the same trail or like track, or is it just everyone starts same time, same location, and they just go off on their own?
I would think it would be the same time, and it's just everybody has like a high school track that they go to. So it's going to be the same like loop, same boring loop. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to take this really scenic trail that has something interesting to look at, but there's hills. Or, I'm going to take this really flat track, but it's boring and there's no bathrooms. So this way it's like the same boring high school track that everybody's used to. So everybody goes to their track. They run the time that they run in the set designated time. Like, okay, this Saturday starting at, I don't know why races are always ridiculously early, probably because of traffic, because they have to close down roads. But okay, this Saturday at 8 a.m., start running, and you have until noon to finish. And then that's when your chip timer goes off and it calculates the distance.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to make sure like the conditions are the same, because I would worry if they're in different spots, if the weather's different. Indoor tracks would be fine. Outdoor tracks in the same area, but we're close enough, but they can't see each other. Okay, fair enough. But I don't understand why you have to chip them. Just give them a freaking watch that they can,
that's
or
fine.
anklet or something.
Yeah.
Chipping them.
Yeah. Like the bib, like a bib chip, not like a implant. But yeah, something to track the distance. It could be a watch. It could be a anklet.
No, I think you're chipping them.
No.
Literally chipping them.
No, we're not like.
I don't want to do that race. I don't want implants.
Dermal implant of a chip. No, it's like if you go off course, it explodes because you're cheating. No.
Or they start making fake chips that have also released performance enhancing drugs.
No, actually, I kind of like the subdermal chip idea, because if you wear a watch or a anklet, you could just put that on a dog and have the dog run a couple laps for you while you're taking a break. So maybe
I like how you're already thinking of cheating for this.
Yeah,
I would have thought if you're doing this, if it's a serious race, they would still have an observer there.
That's a lot of observers.
Depends on how many people are in the race. I mean, if you're doing it where it's like a normal marathon where there's hundreds of people, yeah, that'd be ridiculous. If it's like Olympic where you've got 10 people,
no, or even 25. Yeah, no, that would make sense. But yeah, that would be fine.
Well, in that situation, I'm going to put in the ideas pile because, again, it makes sense. Again, it's a straight up endurance race, but takes a bit of the competitive edge off, and it's a bit of mystery.
Yeah, and it's like more so like the true athlete that can push themselves without having that external force pushing them. Because I always
you have to make yourself do it.
Yeah, I always perform better when, like, even when I'm at the gym and there's someone next to me on a treadmill, they don't know it, but we're racing. Like, it's either like I'm going to stay on this treadmill longer, or I'm going to run faster, or I'm going to dance more creatively on this treadmill. But it's always like something competitive. So for me, it would be a real like true test of what I can do personally against other people without having that additional drive to do better. So that's what kind of interests me in that kind of race.
Yeah. Hey, I'd say definitely something worthwhile thinking about.
Yeah.
All right. And then on to your fourth idea of competitive cuddling with varying big spoons and little spoons. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile. And here's why. I can't put it beyond that because I worry about the judges again. They're hugging all these people, cuddling all these people. I mean, emotions are going to be high. I mean,
that could be one of the factors that they judge on. Like, do I get an emotional release when this person cuddles me?
It could be that. It could be, or they might start getting biased if they start developing those cuddly feelings, warm and fuzzies for a particular person. I mean, are we changing out judges every so often? Are they cuddling three different judges so it's spread it out with that kind of stuff? Do we have to have different gender-oriented ones? Because I mean, sometimes with the guys in the big spoons, you never know what's going to happen.
How did the judges like reset from cuddling one person to the next person?
A cold shower.
There might be like a 5-minute break in between each cuddling session for them to like walk around and
have their cold
take
shower.
it out.
Yeah. So that one's going to the ideas pile.
Okay.
Your fifth idea of creative cardio. No, this is a terrible idea. There's so much exercise involved in this. And like the treadmill-y exercise, not like being outside at least has something to do with it. No, this is terrible. I'm not going to do creative dances on a treadmill. I'm not even going to enter the gym. So no, bad ideas, pals. Get that crap out of here. And then your last idea of your non-gender divided sports. No, this is a great idea. I would love to see this because, like you say, there are probably a lot of women that could do fantastic in what would be traditionally considered male sports and are never given a real chance for it. I would love to see it, and give people that equal opportunity chance to, like you said, to try. It may not work. It may. I know there have been women in certain, male dominated sports and it didn't work out. But, the more chances people get and the more used to they are in those situations, I think for the better.
Yeah.
It makes the sport as a whole better. And, you're going to have people on both ends that are going to be yelling and screaming at each other. But you know what? The worst that happens is you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, and if it does, all the better, especially for certain types of sports where you have different positions, football, basketball, certain things where that could actually play to their advantages. If you're going to try and spout that kind of women and men are different, use your differences to your benefit. If you have to talk about like that, but I still think there's some women who could be better linemen that are out there.
I've played against some women that were larger than some linemen. This always brings me back to, what was it, Starship Troopers? And they had like a version of indoor football, and it was not divided by gender. I remember being younger, watching that and being like, oh, I wish I could do that. That would be so awesome. Because I've always played with my brothers and my male cousins, and then you get to a certain age and it's like, it's fine when you're smaller, but then once you all of a sudden you have boobs, you can no longer play with the boys for whatever reason. So.
Oh, well, those are my pile-ins.
Thank you so much, Alex.
You're welcome.
Ajax, why don't you give us your ideas?
Okay. So for my first idea is a game called Leech, where you're getting to hold on to somebody purely by hugging. There could be multiple levels of this. One is standing on the ground by just hugging them. And then also the other one is off the ground. So you're hugging them with arms and legs. So whoever holds on longest is the winner of Leech. And this game can be played anywhere at any time, while you're in the shower, while you're shopping, while you're at work. Anytime you can see somebody walking around holding on to somebody else, you could be playing, they're playing a game of Leech. So yeah, that's my first idea, Leech. For my second idea is a plant identification competition where you are blindfolded. Well, a whole bunch of people who are competing are blindfolded and taken to a surprise place to compete against others who are also brought the same way. The person who identifies the most plants accurately in a given time is the winner. And the benefit of this competition could be, hey, you get the job. This could be a job like an audition.
An interview?
Auditioning for a job, which is also another thing as well. For my third idea is competitive reading. Each person gets the same written passage to read, and whoever does the best reading performance is the winner. Also, not just reading it like sight reading, but also reciting too. So you can even prepare for this and recite a passage that somebody else has as well. So the person that does it the best, who's judged by, judges, will pick the winner. This is what makes me think of a type of competition that Gabrielle from Xena would partake in, because she was a traveling bard. So this is pretty much, I thought of this because of Xena, and mostly Gabrielle. My idea for number 4 is coworker competitions. These are some things that I used to do with my coworker when we used to work at the nature center. Sometimes it made the job a little bit more fun like who could answer the telephone the fastest, because that you'd always be like the first one to pick it up as soon as it rang, and then you hear the from the other person, knowing that their defeat, you get to talk to the person on the other end. The other activity that we did was timesheet competitions. Whoever got their timesheet done first and handed it to the supervisor for them to sign was the winner. This helped make making timesheets fun, because doing your timesheet sucks. For my fifth idea are task-based competitions, where you compete against yourself with doing chores. You can time yourself and see how fast you can compete on household tasks. And this is something that you can do by yourself, and you can always improve your timing. And then for my sixth idea is Ideas All Day, the party game. Pretty much what we do, you choose our topic, say your ideas, and pile them. But this is with a group of people that you can do when you're hanging out. You can also do it virtually, like we've been doing. Also, you can turn this into a drinking game. Whenever you, not like we do that at all, but like whenever you get a ideas pile, because you know that's the pile that nobody wants, you got to drink. So yeah, that's my sixth idea. Ideas all day drink, ideas all day drinking game, or ideas all day party game. And those are my ideas. Alex, can you pile me?
I would be happy to pile your ideas.
Thanks.
All right. So for your first idea of leeching off of somebody else, I was hoping it would be more than this. I was hoping it'd be like a long-term thing where you're literally just leeching off of somebody else. Just how long you can do it, how long you can get away with mooching off of somebody else and living off of their thing. So you're taking this
mooch. I mean, you could take leeching pretty advanced. That's like
that's what I was thinking. But I mean, I have to gauge it on your idea of just hugging someone long term. And yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna, because it sounds so similar to the cuddling, I'm gonna put this in the ideas pile. More so just because it's just kind of similar. Hers is a little bit more organized and rules based, where yours is a little bit more freeform. But I suppose you could call this practice for the big time. Practice for when it's like the judges get involved.
But also, Kate's didn't really specify that was in bed. Mine's anywhere.
True. Very true. But again, that's all part of the training. Got to be ready to cuddle any point, anytime, and to the best of your abilities.
Yes.
All right. So your second idea of having a plant IDing competition. This is going straight in the bad ideas pile, because that's for nerds. What are you, a nerd? You nerd? Come on, you nerd. Oh, I want to get oh, this is a poison ivy, I think. I don't know. Is it judges? That's such a nerd thing. You're such a nerd. Whatever. All right, your reading competition. Let's. Oh, we went from nerd to nerd, extra nerd. Does anyone have anyone at the Wonka factory? Because they got to make some more nerds. Yes. But I'm not going to put this one in the bad ideas pile though, because it also had the reciting part, and all I can imagine is Morgan Freeman taking place in this and just always winning. So this is just ideas going towards bad, only because Morgan Freeman, in my mind, is the one winning all these competitions. Because how could you not? I mean, how could he not win every single reciting competition? Because this is Morgan Freeman, and he's got the voice of an angel, a very, very husky angel. But I'll take it. All right. So for your fourth idea, which I think was the office space competitions, basically. You must be really bored some days. just that this is the thing that's really helping you make it through the day. This is what you need.
No, I haven't had to use the phone in forever, so I haven't played this in quite some time.
But I'm just saying, no one will ever want to go, oh, I can't wait to pick up the phone. No, everyone, the winner would be who can wait the longest. That's the real winner.
Just to play.
Yeah. And timesheets, I don't understand why the timesheet's so hard thing, but
well, because they're 2 weeks, and I always wait to 2 weeks to do them. So you have to remember 2 weeks in the past.
It's how you get paid, though. I mean, this should be like That'd be something where you think it's one of the most important things you do.
No.
No.
Now I do it every day. I've grown as a person.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't have to do it at all. I'm salary.
I'm salary too. I don't know why I gotta do it too.
Yeah, why do? I mean, I still technically have a time. She's just pre-filled in. Anyways, with your thing, I'm putting ideas going towards bad because technically it's a competition, and if you really like that kind of stuff, fine. But that just sounds boring. Jeez, there's some better things to do. All right, your fifth idea of the timed self competition, where you compete against yourself in time trials of menial tasks. I mean, I guess if I'm gonna have to say one's like decent, this is okay because at least you're trying to better yourself. And if it gives you motivation to do those tasks, like doing the dishes faster, or doing, folding your laundry faster while still I'll take that. So it's going into the ideas pile because I guess there's at least some positiveness to it. All right. And your last idea of the ideas all day, a party game. I mean, originally I was going to put this in the bad ideas pile because that's just, who would do that? But then it became a drinking game. Now it's in the good ideas pile. And anything that's be the drinking game automatically goes in the good ideas pile or the drinking ideas pile.
Thanks, Alex. Kate, would you like to pile me?
Yes, I would. Thank you. So for your first idea, leech, where you're basically just hanging on to someone for dear life for as long as you can. I like this. I put this in the good ideas file. I really do enjoy that. I think it would be funny just to walk around and just see someone just hanging on and be like, oh, that's leech right there. Your plan identification competition. I mean, if that's like your jam, then I could see like you want to test your skills and like compete against other people. So I'm going to put this in the ideas leaning towards good. This isn't something I would want to do, but I could see other people who are like really jazzed about plan identification being like, I mean, there's like a lot of survivalists that do a lot of plan identification just because, if it's edible or if it's dangerous, they want to know. Competitive reading, out loud reading and reciting. This is going in the bad ideas because this already exists. It's called auditioning. So yeah, you audition for a part in a play, a musical, a movie. This is what you're doing.
So I was right, auditioning.
So I'm going to put that in the bad ideas pile, especially since I don't like reading aloud. It's not a thing I like to do. Coworker competitions. I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile. I've worked in a lot of places, and one of the places I worked in was a call center. And I feel like if I had these games in the call center, it would make my experience in the call center a lot more fun. Nowadays, I don't really get that many phone calls. And when I do, I pick up pretty quickly. So much so that my boss will call me and be like, did the phone even ring before you picked it up? But yeah, I would think, coworker competitions. I'll give that a good idea. Self-task completion. I'm going to put this in the bad ideas pile. But I'm going to add a caveat. If this was instead of just you doing the task and trying to do the task as fast as possible, competing against yourself, instead of that, if you had roommates and it was like a head-to-head with your roommates, like your roommates cleaned the dishes in 5 minutes, so now you want to do it in 4.5, or they vacuum. If they vacuum like the living space in 3 minutes, you want to do it faster. Then I would be more on board, but like nothing's going to make me want to wash the dishes faster. Like me beating my time of 30 minutes isn't going to be like, oh goody, I can't wait to start cleaning these dishes. So that's why it's in the bad ideas pile. And then ideas all day, the party game / drinking game. This is going to sound weird. I'm kind of agreeing with Alex on this one. As soon as she said drinking game, I was on board. So yeah, good ideas pile. And we're going to have to start bringing some adult beverages to these recordings and start doing some drinks because that sounds like a good time.
Wait, you weren't doing this before?
No.
You didn't have your. Oh.
I just
geez.
finished like 32 ounces of water just during this recording.
Yeah, you did. That's
did.
a drinking game,
Yeah,
but
I
you did
did.
it beforehand.
I did.
But it's got to be adult. It's not really the thing. It's not the same thing.
You try drinking a crap ton of water every day.
I drank a lot today too. I was
Yeah.
really thirsty today.
I wasn't, but I've been told by my personal trainer that I need to drink more water, and I have goals set now to drink X amount of ounces. So, but yeah, anyway, good ideas on the drinking game, and those are my filings.
Thanks, Kate.
Speaking of thanks, we should probably thank our listeners.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks everyone for coming and listening to us.
Thank you for listening. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Stitcher, Anchor, any other podcasting platform. If you're listening to a podcasting platform that does not feature Ideas All Day, please let us know by emailing us at ideasallday.podcast@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel that has playlists. And we're also on Instagram. You can find us at Ideas All Day Podcast. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.